America is drowning in credit card debt, and the life raft people are grabbing might have a hole in it. We are talking about a record $1.28 trillion in credit card balances at the end of 2025, and millions of Americans are now sprinting toward personal loans like they just found the exit door. Here's the thing though, the exit door might just lead to another room. Unsecured personal loans are expected to be the single biggest driver of new borrowing in 2026. And that tells you everything you need to know about where we are right now in this economy. So why are personal loans suddenly the hot new thing at the debt buffet? Simple math. Honestly, the average credit card rate is sitting at 19.58%, while the average personal loan rate is down around 12.26%. And when you are drowning, even a slightly shallower pool feels like a miracle. But here is where the story gets darkly funny. Because a TransUnion study found that borrowers who consolidate actually reduce their credit card balances by 57% right after, which sounds incredible until you learn that most of them are right back to their original debt levels within 18 months. It is like furiously bailing water out of a boat while leaving the hole wide open. Experts are not shy about naming this exactly what it is. You cannot borrow your way out of debt, full stop. That phrase should honestly be tattooed somewhere visible, because the math of shifting debt around does not erase debt, it just rearranges the furniture while the house is still on fire. And then there is the refinancing trap that almost nobody talks about, which is the part where roughly 14 to 17% of new personal loans are being used just to pay off previous personal loans. We have entered a kind of financial Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail, where the middle class is quietly cycling through loan after loan and calling it a strategy. Now, before we spiral into full existential dread, let us zoom out, because this is not a new story. It is actually a very old one, wearing new clothes. Every decade or so, consumers rediscover the consolidation loan like it is a revolutionary invention. And every decade, the data reminds us that the product was never really the problem. The real problem, according to behavioral economists and financial therapists, is emotional. It is the shame spiral, the stress spending, the Friday night retail therapy that quietly added $300 to a balance you swore you were paying down. No interest rate, no matter how attractive, fixes a habit that has not been examined. So what does history actually teach us here? And what should you do if you are staring down a mountain of high interest debt right now? First, consolidation is a tool, not a cure. And like any tool, it only works if you change the behavior that created the problem in the first place. Otherwise, you are just buying yourself 18 months of false comfort. Second, if you are going to use a personal loan strategically, treat it like a surgical instrument and not a shopping cart. Lock the credit cards, set a fixed payoff timeline, and automate every single payment so your emotions never get a vote. Discipline is the actual interest rate reduction nobody advertises. Here is a misconception worth crushing, right? Now, people assume that needing a debt management plan means you failed, but nonprofit credit counselors can actually negotiate directly with your creditors to lower your rates without you taking on a single new dollar of debt. That option exists, it is often free, and almost nobody talks about it because there is no product to sell you. The deeper truth that this whole trend reveals is something worth sitting with for a moment. Financial cycles are relentlessly predictable, and yet each generation experiences them as entirely new emergencies. The numbers change, the products get rebranded, but the underlying human behavior of spending ahead of income and then scrambling for relief is essentially timeless. What separates the people who get out from the people who cycle endlessly is not intelligence, income, or even willpower. It is process, consistency, and the humility to stop trusting your feelings with financial decisions. Conviction without a system is just expensive optimism. At the end of the day, the size of your debt matters less than the discipline of your approach. And starting is always better than waiting for perfect conditions that will never arrive. Whether the economy cooperates or not, a rational, unemotional plan executed consistently will outperform any financial product ever created. And if you are ready to stop rearranging deck chairs and actually start building something, whether that is through real estate investing, home contracting work, or finding the right lenders to partner with, we can help you get started. So check out our links in the description below.